Hey everyone, hope we're all well. My name's Gavin and I currently do e-commerce full time. On this channel I post content about the e-commerce store that I run, which is called Poseidon Hair, and I also like to try to give you guys as much value as I can so that you too can run your own e-commerce store. In this video I'm going to go over specifically how you can build trust with your customers. I'll be going over a range of methods, so stay tuned. Before I get into the methods, if you are interested in e-commerce videos like this, you should consider hitting the subscribe button below. I've quite a busy schedule with my business, but I try to post as many of these videos as I can. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into the methods. The first tip I have is give your brand a personal feel. What do I mean by this? If you go into any of my social media pages, my Instagram, my TikTok, or this YouTube channel, I'm completely transparent and I have my face everywhere. This builds more trust with your customers because your own personal reputation is also at risk. So people have an internal understanding that if you're not providing the best service or product you possibly can, you're also damaging yourself, which obviously no one would want to do. On my to-do list every day is post at least 3 Instagram stories. I try to stay active and keep my followers up to date with what I'm doing, how I'm working on the business. And I also sprinkle in some little bits about my personal life. And the feedback I've got from this has been immense. People really like to see your journey and what you're doing to grow your business. So I couldn't recommend personalizing your brand anymore. It also comes in handy when customers have to deal with issues because there's a face behind the brand. It's not just this faceless entity. So they know there's another human behind the screen. And as long as you are helpful, compassionate and caring, there won't be any problems. So yeah, that was my first tip, personalize your brand. The second tip is about your product listings. I'd recommend anyone who's starting a e-commerce business to use Shopify, but this also applies to WooCommerce, BigCommerce, any of the other platforms. You want to make sure you have high quality images of your product on your page. This doesn't mean you need to go out and pay €500-600 for a photographer. What I did was I just put my products up against a white wall and brightened the background using Photoshop. You can find tons of tutorials on YouTube about this. If you lads want me to do a tutorial on this, leave it in the comments and I'll try to get one done soon. Yeah, even if you don't have Photoshop, you can probably do it on Canva. And by doing this, it'll give your product page a much more professional look. Also, if you're drop shipping or something, you should be able to find product images all over the internet. But I personally wouldn't recommend drop shipping myself. I can get into that in another video if you lads want me to. I also have before and after pictures on my product listing because of course I sell hairstyling products. So you want to sell the outcome to your customers. So yeah, of course you want high quality images, but you also want good descriptions too. You want your descriptions to be very coherent and articulate. And if you're like me and you're dyslexic, you can just whack it into ChatGPT. Fun fact about my product descriptions, they were all written by ChatGPT. And there's nothing disingenuous about that. The AI just wrote a much better description than I could have. So even if you are quite good with words, I'd recommend just going on to ChatGPT and getting it to write the copy on your website for you just to see if it does a better job. And from there you can just paste it in and tweak little bits. It's not even just for your descriptions. For all the copy on your website, you should be at least trying to use AI. For anyone who doesn't know what copy is, that literally just means text. So yeah, now with the rise of AI, there's just no reason to pay someone to write your copy for you. That was my second tip, high quality descriptions and product photos. On to my third tip, you want to be very transparent about your shipping policies, your return policies and your refund policies. On all of my product pages, I have a little pop-up which informs customers of my policies. Policy you might want to implement, for example, is a 30-day refund guarantee because products do get lost in shipping a lot. And unfortunately, as the entrepreneur, it is your responsibility to refund the customer if this does happen. So on my website, I state very clearly that if your product hasn't arrived with you within 1 month of your order, you get a full refund. This builds trust with the customer as they know that if their order doesn't arrive with them, they will be compensated. You should also be providing accurate shipping times and offering track shipping if possible. I do this through the use of my 3PL. If you don't know what a 3PL is, it stands for third-party logistics. It can also be called a fulfillment center. Essentially, I work with a 3PL in Northern Ireland who handle all my orders. They provide all the packaging, they will pick and pack the orders, and they will send them out. Obviously, this isn't an option at the beginning. I was doing my business about 1.5 years before I started working with this 3PL. But if you are doing decent volumes, it's definitely something you should look into. Because when I went on board with my 3PL, they provided me with exactly how much it's going to cost to ship what items to what countries, and exactly how much time it's going to take to get there. From there, I was able to import all that information onto my website. This is so important as the goal is to provide as much information to the customer as possible. The last thing you want is for them to be left in the dark about the status of their order. Another tip I have is for your privacy policy and your terms of service at the bottom of your Shopify store. A way you can do this without having to write it all yourself is to just go into your settings, go to policies, and just press auto generate. From there, you can just tweak whatever is applicable to your business. It'll save you hours and hours and hours of writing. So yeah, that was my third tip, to be as transparent as possible with your shipping and your other policies. Tip number 4 is to display reviews and testimonials. If you go onto my landing page, one of the first things that comes up is my Trustpilot page. I'd recommend Trustpilot for any business owner. They have a completely free plan, which is honestly all you'd need. It allows you to collect reviews from trusted customers and display it on your website. This is what we call social proof. It essentially just displays to the customer that other people have been happy with the product, so you probably will be too. And another way you can create social proof is through testimonials. You can create a collage on your website of your best reviews. Maybe you could even ask the customers to provide before and after photos photos. And you can also put testimonials in your ads and your social media pages. Honestly, the more social proof you have, the better, especially when you get into the stage of sending free products out to influencers who will then send their audience to your page. Also, if you do get negative reviews, you should leave them there, because if a product is a perfect 5 stars, it can look a bit fishy. So it's no harm to leave 2, 3, or even 4 negative reviews there to prove that the reviews are real. If you are having trouble getting reviews but you have a homogeneous good, there's a way to do this on Shopify. You can download an app called Ali Reviews, and from there you can import reviews from Amazon or AliExpress. I wouldn't formally recommend this, but it is an option. So yeah, that was my 4th tip, displaying reviews and testimonials. Otherwise, another great way to get reviews is to have it in your email marketing flow. What I mean by this is sending all customers an email about 2 weeks after they've received their product, asking them to review it. From there, what I do is offer them a discount code if they do leave a review. And by the way, it is illegal to ask someone for a 5-star review. And I track who clicked through to the email, and whoever did will receive a follow-up email with their discount code. This is a further incentive for the customer to let you know what they thought of your products. On a side note, it's very important to take that feedback to heart, see what some customers liked about your products and keep going in that direction, and also see some of the negativity and try to eliminate it. When you're running a business, the most important thing is to just drop your ego, because unless your products are literally curing cancer, you can probably do with a little bit of negative feedback. So take it on board and learn from it. Tip number 5, and what might be my most important tip, is to provide excellent customer service. On my to-do list, I have replied to emails every single day, even on the weekends, to ensure that no customers are waiting more than 24 hours for me to respond to them. In my response, I try to speak with my customers with a very personal tone. I also have my face and my social links at the bottom of every email. This is also something I can show you lads to do if you want me to show you. In my notes, I have pre-sendable emails for every single issue that a customer could be going through, and I got AI to write those emails for me. This ensures that every customer does feel actually catered to, as they're not just receiving a 2 or 3 line email back. What you've got to remember as well when it comes to customer service is patience and compassion is so key. Someone might be cursing you out, someone might be being horrible, but the trick is to kill them with kindness, because if you stoop to their level and you start acting like them, it can have detrimental consequences for you. They might post how you've spoken to them on their social media pages and permanently tarnish your brand's reputation. So this is something you want to avoid at all costs. I've had so many times where I've had to try my best to bite my tongue with customers, but once you have a bit of compassion and realize that they're probably just a bit upset that their order hasn't arrived or whatever other problem they've encountered, and step into their shoes, it becomes a lot easier to resolve the issue. And if someone has a positive experience with your customer service, it will most likely lead to a lot more word of mouth referrals. So yeah, that was my 5th and final tip, providing excellent customer service. If this video was helpful to you at all, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a like down below. And like I said in the beginning, if you're interested in e-commerce content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. So yeah, if there's any tips you think I missed, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And if there's any other specific topics you guys want me to cover, leave that below as well. Anyway, that's all for today. Hope you lads have a good one, and I'll see you next time.